Hey guys, I wanted to come and actually make a follow-up video in regards to my one that I was speaking about, the door slam versus the door closed, that one. And I've been wanting to talk about this for a little while now, and I've actually kind of made a couple, but they didn't turn out quite right, so I didn't post any. But I wanted to talk about, is the door slam is it more emotional or is it more logical? Not logical, or like analytical, more thinking, more logic behind it. And I will say, from my experience, um, from my personal experience, for me, it was more logical. Not to say like your emotions don't get involved, because again, the purpose of the door slam, it is like a defense mechanism. So there are some emotions that get involved, but um, for me, it was more logical in the fact that like I really thought about the whole thing. I really thought like very like all around, front, side, back, forward. I thought about like the consequences of what would happen if I did this, how it would affect me, how it would affect the parties involved. So, and I bring this up to say that I think there's also like some discussion of like, if the door slam is more emotional, sometimes people, um, okay, let me backtrack. I've the discussion has been with the door slam, that is it permanent, right? And let's just say nothing really in life is like, let's say, is permanent. There's always leeway for things to happen. There's no like set rule, especially when it comes to something like this. Because I think when people when an INFJ door slams somebody, and again, I think from the more logical standpoint, they do it thinking that this is permanent. They don't think like, I'm doing this, but I know like we're gonna get back on, where we used to be. I think when it comes from that standpoint, it tends to be more, permanent. And again, not to say like in a few years, who knows what can happen. But when it comes to it being more I'm sorry, more emotional, I do think that's where the door can be opened again. Because when it was more emotional, your emotions get involved. You tend to not think about the whole decision. You make a rash decision. So then you end up going back and um, oh, like, why was I, you're not in your right state of mind when you're, emotional sometimes. So what happens is the person ends up reopening the door again, and they find themselves back in the situation, or back involved with the people that were involved. So I think when it's more emotional, it does have room to open up again, or to be in that same situation. Whereas if someone was more logical in closing that door, it tends to be more permanent. And again, check out that video if you haven't, about the difference between like a door slam and taking like a break. Because I do believe like, again, us as humans, sometimes we need a break from people. Sometimes we need to distance ourselves from people, or maybe you're just distancing yourself from a situation at that time. But that doesn't mean like you door slam somebody. To be the door slam again is like, when someone tells me like they door slam somebody, I'm thinking like, oh wow, you cut them out your life. Not as like, oh, this is, I'm just distancing myself from a situation, because, everybody gets in disagreements, you know what I mean? So I just kind of wanted to talk about, like, again, is it more emotional or is it more logical? I kind of rambled a little bit, but I just wanted to bring that up too. And again, I think that's what makes it the INFJ door slam, because again, INFJs we have this thing where it's like an all or nothing thing. We can't really do the back and forth in between situations all the time. Where some people, it doesn't really phase them. Like, for us, it's like either we're hot or we're cold. We can't be like lukewarm all the time. And again, I'm just speaking on general terms. You know, of course, nothing is ever permanent. Nothing is ever end all be all. But I just wanted to say that. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out there. I may talk about this even more. I feel like I'm kind of doing like an INFJ Doorslam series a little bit. So maybe this will be a part of it. But I will check you out in my next video. Thank you for watching. I hope you like this video and subscribe and share. Thank you so much. Bye.